This has Padres fans fired up, has me fired up. It should have you fired up. Dylan Cease has begun his 2025 MLB campaign. We got a lot to talk about. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Padres Digest. The regular season is here, and that means three things. One, everything is now viewed through the lens of us chasing the Dodgers, whatever. We're going to get to that. That's an underlying thing. Two is that players like this man right here, Jackson Merrill and Cease, and all those guys are now the focus. We're no longer diving into the nitty-gritty of who's making the bench. And number three, it means you have to hit the subscribe button because now the videos are must-watch all season long if you want to be the most informed and well-adjusted Padres fans. Because, yes, Padres Digest is here for updates and that kind of stuff, but we're also here just for reactions. I'm here to ride emotionally shotgun with you and keep you guys all healthy and happy all season long. One of those things to be happy about is Dylan Cease. Let's roll the tape again. Right here, you're seeing a couple of his strikeouts from his 2025 regular season debut against the Atlanta Braves. Look, it was a game in which he looked good, maybe not elite. He might not have had every single thing. He made it 4 1/3. He walked some guys. He struck out some guys. He had a lot of, there was statistical numbers sprayed in all directions that fans can try and be like, he wasn't perfect. He wasn't that. Like, we've seen, yes, what the best of this looks like. It is literally a no-hitter. So that's a hard metric to judge against when you're always being like, well, what version of him is perfect? And then this is what we got. Yes, no, maybe so. Look, my two key takeaways from this game. One, his stuff was moving a ton. And yes, there was some walks. And sometimes that's a sign of a guy who just doesn't have it on a given day. And maybe that's a sign of a guy who is not with a good release point or he's a little tweaked or something like that. But also sometimes walks can be when you've got 9 to 12 inches of break on a slider and you're trying to finesse that little bit of the corner of the plate, sometimes you miss. And I think that you can usually, and this is the least statistical of all the analyses, but you can usually give the eye test to be like, is there a thing about that guy that makes you think, oh, okay, he just doesn't have it today. There was nothing of that with Cease. Cease was coming out absolutely guns blazing, throwing great sweeping that slide piece that he's got just through the zone. The fastball, you've seen it on some of those clips. It was 98. It was crisp. It just was, he didn't want to give up dumb pitches. And you saw the one home run that he surrendered in the game was he left that slider too much in the middle of the zone. So what does he do? He goes back to working the outsides and the corners and the finessing, and that resulted in some walks, and that resulted in some runs. And okay, I'm fine with all of that because like I said, he had his stuff. To start your season out, your debut performance with the goods, that's everything you need to know that he's going to be coming for this season. It's going to be an absolutely great thing to watch. It's going to be stressful knowing that the Padres will end up having to pay for it if they want to retain it. But in the here and the now, where as we are just focusing with the blinders on, if we're just looking at the next game, the next day, how do the Padres win right now? This is how the Padres win right now. Technically, he's our number 2. With Michael King getting the opening day nod, with our number 2 looking like this early in the season. Second major takeaway. Padres still won the game, even with Cease not having his best stuff, even with Cease not even making it deep into the game. That's 2 games now with the King debut, with the King's opening day start, and then the Cease one. And that's kind of a misnomer to lop them together, but it's hopefully a painting of a larger trend for the San Diego Padres. Is that they have the ability to be down but not out. And the Padres, the last couple years, have had to be top 10 in the major leagues and come from behind wins and have they have this gusto, they have these bats, they have Manny and Fernando can get them out of anything. I think also if we're looking at look, if the worst things that we can have is Cease goes 4 innings, King goes 2 1/3. Like, our starters, if they aren't going to be making it out, but the rest of the team doesn't suffer from that, I'm not saying that's a sustainable trend, but it's really good to see that from the opening day permutation of this roster. Because I do think that the Padres roster, as the season goes on, will get better. There will be tweaks made. There will be rookies called up. There will be people developing. There will be this, that. Like, there's always movement that happens. And then we will also see a lot more of this. And hopefully this that stretches out into 5, 6, 7 inning starts. Because if we get 6 consistent, if you take away 1 walk and 2 other at-bats of foul balls were like, just get his pitch count down. When he finished when he got going into the 5th inning, he was already at 80 pitches. So there was no, even if he had gotten a clean, immaculate 5-pitch kind of vibe on that 5th inning, I don't think he would have gone 6. Just part of early season. They don't want to work him that hard. Just part, like, it just, for all reasons baseball related, he probably was not going to go 115 pitches. But if we get this, minus enough pitches that he can go into the 5th, go into the 6th, that's a lethal Padres team, because the runs are going to be there, and there are going to be nonstop other videos talking about the offensive support. That's why you need to go subscribe, because we have all of that for you on the channel all season long. But to me, like I said, the takeaways are that Cease had his stuff, and Cease having his stuff is great news, because King's going to get better and not go 2 1/3. Like, that's just not going to happen every single start. We're going to see what Pavetta's got. We've seen that Randy Vasquez might actually be a serviceable major league 4 or 5. And then we're off to the races. We're going to have to figure out some other pieces here and there. But right now, Padres fans should, and will continue to be fired up over the ace that is Dylan Cease. And I think that the fact that Cease combined with the vibes, the shrugs of the Jackson Merrill, win-loss might not be a great results, because sometimes it's out of your hands as a starting pitcher. But I'll call it 18 to 22 wins this season for Cease. If what we saw off of start number 1 continues throughout the whole season, 18 to 22 wins for Cease this year. That's where I think we're at. Let me know, though, what you think. Drop a comment below. Let me know. You like Cease? You like what you saw? Do you think we need more this, that? Like, just let me hear from you guys on some of the pitching reactions that you have to Dylan Cease and what that means for the San Diego Padres this season. And like I said at the top, hit that subscribe button so your timeline can be blessed with Padres content galore all season long. Until then, keep the faith, Friar fans. We'll talk to you guys soon.